Welcome to Crosstown Cardboard, episode 34, with my good friend Craig at New York City Sports Cards. He's the math teacher, the soccer coach, originally from on Long Island, but now he's in the midst of New York City. And myself, he's got the cup, the water bottle to prove it. And myself, Carmine at Carmine's Cards, grew up in Westchester County, New York, but now a sports and news broadcaster in Southern Oregon. And Craig, we've been talking a lot about our guests, which, we try to be selfless guys. We try to let them take over the mic, tell their stories when they come in. That, of course, is Ken at Sports Card Lessons, our fellow Wolfpack member we had on last episode, and Shay at Shayway Vlogs with one of the best soccer card collections in the world, going all the way to Norway to pick up a one-of-one Lionel Messi Superfractor auto. So those are a couple episodes if you want to catch up. But the reason I talk about that is not just to shamelessly plug our own stuff on Crosstown Cardboard, but it's because it has hampered our own discussions about some of the big moves and some of the big things that we've been doing ourselves. So now that we've lent the microphone for a brief period of time to our guests, this episode is going to be a lot about some deals that I've made. I just set up at the Portland Card Show. Twin Oaks is what they call it, at the Lloyd Center, big mall. And so we're going to talk about that show, some of the moves that I've made, some of the moves you've made. But episode 34 actually has a bit of an ominous title that you came up with, and it's called It's Not All Rainbows and Unicorns, because although we have had some rainbows and unicorns in the midst of these deals that we'll get to, my experience at the Portland Card Show was not all rainbows and unicorns. There were some clouds, there was some rain, some thunder. It wasn't all optimistic, which is kind of contrary to what we usually do. But I got to send the microphone to you, Craig, because it's episode 34. It's Giannis. It's the Shaq on the Lakers episode for 34, but it's also the Giannis episode. So what do you think about our title here?
It's the big man episode, the Giannis, the Shaq episode. My last name being Shaq. It's only appropriate.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm sorry you didn't have the best experience at the show. We're definitely going to get into that. But very well said. I feel like you and I have been active as well, doing our own thing, making moves, talking to people, transactions. But we haven't talked about it too much. So I got a lot of things to mention as far as a big deal I made. A fun little soccer flip that I made. I'm really enjoying myself doing soccer cards. And a conversation I had with a parent about working from home, a soccer parent. I coached their kid. And he was talking about at his company working from home. And I kind of made a connection between that and card shows versus dealing online. But we're going to get into that. The title's not misleading. All my stuff's pretty positive. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm feeling real good. It is at that prime time with the end of the school year. There's not much happening. Summer's on the horizon. Feeling pretty good, excited for National. All my moves are focused towards the National. I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. But listen, I want to hear from you, because the last two shows you went to, Burbank show, San Francisco show, you came back all smiles. Everything was good. You were so happy with the cards you bought, you sold. I'm getting a different vibe from you this time in just talking to you over the last couple of days. So what went down in Portland that you are not feeling right now?
Well, I think overall, each show is what you make of it. So if there aren't that many sales, the foot traffic isn't that great, I think you can turn it into more of a buying show, ask somebody to watch your table for a second, go out and have an adventure. So there are positives to talk about. But I think overall there were a couple things working against the Portland show in this particular week. I've heard that it's been pretty positive, lots of foot traffic overall. They actually, from the last time I set up at Portland, which it's funny because that was our first episode. If you remember, I was rushing back from Portland, and then the first ever episode of Crosstown Cardboard, we were talking about a Twin Oaks show recap from the Portland show. So now we kind of come full circle here. But I think a couple, and since then, they've actually expanded the Twin Oaks show at the Lloyd Center Mall in Portland from once a month to now twice a month. So it's every other week or twice a month they do the show there. So
Quadruple Oaks.
Yeah. I mean, so they went from once a month to twice a month. So they must think that it's, going really well. The response has been good. But like I said, a couple things were working against this week's show. One of them being on Memorial Day weekend. So lots of people, on the lake or going out adventuring, hanging out with their significant others, their families. That's all understandable. So I think that limited the foot traffic. And then the second thing was where I was set up was not in the main hallway area of the mall. It was like divided by one of those like
you got this.
like the jewelry displays they have like in the middle of like some of the hallways in the mall. So it was like the main hallway, the jewelry thing, and then there was like a little square of tables. That's where I was set up.
You got the side room.
Yeah, I mean, I was still like there, but just a little bit off the main thing.
The real estate wasn't the best.
No, it wasn't the best.
It's a major factor.
Oh, major factor. And I got fewer people coming up, and the biggest sale I had was for two $50 cards, and it was $100 in total. Most of the people were coming up, looking at my showcase, and then saying cool stuff. And we would have great conversation, which was a positive of the experience. It was a rainbow and a unicorn, but overall the sales weren't there. And most of the people were digging through the dollar bins and sometimes just walking away. So that was a little bit disappointing as far as the foot traffic and my position in the show and the lack of sales. But I did want to shout out a couple people because they came up and were talking about the podcast. That's Anthony _quarantine collector _ and Nick, who I never met until just meeting him this past weekend in Portland. He's bridge _city _sports _cards. Extremely nice guy. And they actually pointed out specific things about the podcast. So I knew that they were real listeners. So big shout out to them. But yeah, overall, a little bit disappointing as far as sales at the Twin Oaks show this weekend.
First of all, shout out to them. That's pretty cool that people are talking about this. Yeah, definitely appreciate that. So love the feedback there. So my first thought was, we've talked about 3 shows for you on here, and 2 of them have been successful. I would say 1 not. 2 out of 3 gets you in the Hall of Fame. So that's still pretty good. Let's look at it like that, like glass half full.
Good point.
My other question about being a dealer there, did you notice around you, were people buying at other tables, or were people just not buying a lot altogether?
It seemed like some people were having a lot better luck than me because of their position in the show, I think, mostly. And also because a lot of them had cheaper cards, like Ken was talking about. And actually, this is what Nick and Anthony mentioned to me when they came up and talked about Crosstown Cardboard. They were saying that $50 to $500 range, which I have a lot of cards in that range, but partially because of my position in the show, I didn't get as many people coming up asking about them. The biggest sale I made at the show was on Instagram to a friend, Rookie League Cards, and he bought one of my flawless Larry Bird patches, and that was in the mid 200s, that sale. But I figured try to make a use of that time if there was more downtime at the show.
So what was it about this time? Because I remember one time I set up at a last show in Jersey. That was when I was with Rob, Tony came by, Ken, DJ. And I remember I had a bunch of soccer cards out, including a lot of American players, $50 to $100 low parallel cards. Nobody took any interest in any of them. And I came away from that show thinking, okay, now I know what I need my inventory to look like, or at least what I need to change a little bit. So how does this impact how you're going to collect or what you're going to look to pick up over the immediate future?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think it really does at all, because I'm pretty much picking up mostly stuff that I like, because I want to, if I don't sell it, I want to still have it as the cards that I collect until I sell them. And I think it was more because the foot traffic wasn't that good and my position at the show rather than what I had in the showcase, And so I think for example, at Burbank, I had a lot of success because there were people there. First of all, you can't even compare the 2 shows from 50 to 75 tables at this Portland show to, whatever, 500, 700 tables, however many it was in Burbank, probably around 500. And, people with big money flying into that show. It's two different worlds. And that one, I found my stuff was really moving and trading and selling. So what I did, Craig, maybe this also answers your question, is I also found that, okay, maybe I need to get a little more modern. People were coming up asking, well, of course they were asking Michael Jordan. There were actually a lot of people looking for 90s inserts, middle-aged guys, and that's what they grew up on. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll eventually dabble into that arena. But I know that there's some big-time cards, to be had there. I'm just not an expert on those.
It makes sense that you're not too into modern. You're kind of an old soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
So I made a move that when I told you about it on Saturday at the show, you said, very unlike you.
I audibly gasped.
Really? Yeah, you were concerned for me because what happened was I traded away a Larry Bird immaculate big patch numbered out of 5, game used, of course, and also traded away a Magic Johnson flawless on-card auto numbered out of 5 for this Joe Burrow select rookie tie-dye numbered out of 25, and it's the premier level.
Where did this happen?
It also happened at the show, at the end of the Twin Oaks show.
It's a pretty big move right there. So
Yeah,
you gave up a Magic Johnson flawless on-card auto out of 5.
Yeah.
And a Larry Bird game-worn patch?
Yeah.
From
immaculate.
Okay. And
also numbered out of 5.
Straight up for the Joe Burrow tie-dye select out of 25.
Yes.
I mean, do you want me to sugarcoat it and say great move? When I hear that, I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind.
Okay, well,
so tell me, like, as my friend, we could be open about this. Tell me your thought process, because I feel like that goes way against the grain for you.
Yeah, well, actually, my thought was that I'm always buying Magic and Bird. Those are like my 2 main guys. Larry being 1, Magic 2, and I like a lot of other guys too, a lot of Knicks guys, but I'm always buying those guys, and so I'm like, well, maybe it's time to branch out a little bit. Plus, like you mentioned, the National coming up. Football is going to be in full swing as far as people buying at the National. And so I wanted to, guy came up, his name's Thomas, TGR_cards. And he was actually just a friend of Anthony, came up to my table. Like I said, nobody was there, to come up to interrupt us. So I'm like, oh, what's in your case? What did you get today? He starts pulling out cards, and then this one caught my eye just because I really like the tie-dye. Of all,
we've spoken about tie-dye on here. We're a tie-dye podcast for sure.
We're pro tie-dye, especially being in Portland. I mean, come on, keep Portland weird. Come on. So the tie-dye came up. It immediately caught my eye, and I'm like, well, I don't really have that much quarterback stuff. Like, I have a Tua on-card rookie auto numbered at a 99, this rookie of the year. It's kind of like mid-grade. It's not great.
Not too cool.
No, I mean, it's all right. It's like a $250 card. And I'm like, all right, well, I like this Joe Burrow. He's like, well, the last comp was 550. I'm like, that seems pretty low for a Joe Burrow tie-dye select rookie out of 25. And I'm like, I like that comp. He's like, yeah, but I might need a little bit more on it. So I'm like, okay. So he starts looking at the stuff that I have. And of course, he picks out 2 of my best cards of my 2 favorite guys. But I'm like, people are always hitting me up on Instagram with Bird and Magic cards, which is one of the reasons I'm always able to buy them, because people think of me as the Bird and Magic guy.
It's pretty cool. Look what you've done by just putting yourself out there.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm like always flattered when people send me that stuff. And once in a while, a Tiger card too. And so I'm like, well, I'll probably have an opportunity to, I have my Magic and Bird PC items that I didn't bring out. So this isn't affecting my PC. These are cards that I bought to move for the right thing. So I'm like, okay, well, we ended up trading around a $600 value, and it was pretty straight across the board. And I'm into the Burrow that has that last comp of 550. I'm into the Burrow for 400 and what am I into it for? Yeah, 420 because I ended up adding $30 also.
Look at you and your old school writing down your accounting
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
hand.
I got all my, if you're watching on the Crosstown Cardboard YouTube, we were mentioning the life lessons we learned. The accounting here was one that we both shared. So
Yeah, I got you on a Google Slides lesson if you ever need.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, I just wanted to be like a little more risky.
I
And
like
like
it.
I
I
have a
like
lot
it.
of old school guys, all retired Hall of Fame dudes. Football season coming up. I don't consider Joe Burrow like a prospect, like he's really proven that he's in the top tier of quarterbacks. I mean, look at what he's done in the playoffs, going almost winning a Super Bowl a couple seasons ago, losing to the Rams by I think 3 points.
Okay,
You know,
let's talk about as two people who don't operate in the modern football game, for example.
yeah,
Neither of us really.
right.
Would you agree, based on what we've learned from talking to guests, from just observing the hobby, that the move would probably be to grade it?
Yeah, I think I probably will grade it. And if it comes back a 9,
W.
I think it's close to $1,000 card.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you look at the 10, I think that's around 3 grand.
Wow. Good price.
Josh Allen, similar card in a 10, PSA 10 is 3,000.
Okay.
So, that's what I'm playing on the upside of possibly grading, hopefully getting at least a 9. And then also the upswing of football season and the low comp that I thought, oh, that's like a good, like 550 seems reasonable for the last comp. So might as well, I have it in now I'm into it, for 420. And so there's some decent upside. Worst case scenario, I probably get my money back.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were into it for that amount. So yeah, good play. Really good play.
Yeah.
I respect the move. You have enough magic and bird. You want to branch out a little bit. Same reason I have a couple Giannis patches in my inventory that I plan on bringing with me to National for that same reason. I have enough Giannis. I could sacrifice a couple to just go get whatever may come across my radar. So I feel that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. So I was happy about that move. And then we're going to get to I can't wait to hear about your big moves. But also, I wanted to just shout out a couple moves I made that were, still, even though the theme is it's not all rainbows and unicorns because of how the Portland show was a little bit disappointing, but there were like the Burrow pickup and a couple other stories I'm going to get through pretty quick here. There were some positives. So I also traded a Larry Bird card and cash for this Carmelo Anthony rookie. This is a PC card. 2003-04 Ultimate Collection, Ultimate Signatures. Carmelo Anthony rookie auto, BGS 9 with a 10 auto. It's a true 9. And it's part of my set that I'm going to announce here that I'm starting to collect.
Uh-oh.
My personal collection. I'm putting it out there in the universe, even though
breaking news.
And it's an expensive set because, of course, it's LeBron's and Dwayne Wade's rookie year and Michael Jordan's in it, Kobe, Bird and Magic. And it's the Ultimate Signatures, super classy look. But the on-card auto from 03-04, I have the Dwayne Wade and the PSA 10. It's only a pop 27. Now I have the Carmelo. And I also recently got the Patrick Ewing. So I have 3 of that set. And that was another deal where I traded away a Larry Bird auto for something that I'm now going after as a personal collection. So we'll see.
SB Authentic. I remember.
No, this Ultimate Collection.
Ultimate Collection. Okay, so that was back in the day. That was the one pack, 7 or 8 or 9 cards thrill.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, I remember
when I was buying, I wasn't in that echelon to buy anything like that.
Exactly, right? But I remember watching box breaks of it back in the day.
Okay.
Oh, that was the good stuff.
Yeah, it's a top tier product. And our boy Rob the sports card therapist, has the vertical LeBron rookie auto from Ultimate Collection. So like the horizontal, which is what I'm after in this set, like a PSA 9 Jordan is like $7,000. A BGS 9.5,
Okay.
a BGS 9.5 LeBron rookie auto, of course, that year recently went for $10,000. So it's not like it's a lofty goal, but it's not unattainable, especially maybe at National where you can trade, add cash, and that kind of thing. So that's my goal right now. It's like you said, breaking news, and that's now I got 3 of that set. So and the weight is like in the PSA 10 that I have is like $1,000 to $1,300 card. So that was cool. I picked that up at Burbank. And couple quick pickups, Craig, and then I can't wait to hear about your deals. I got this Mike Bibby New York Knicks on card auto. This is out of Opulence, numbered out of 49, and this is for the PC to add to my New York Knicks on card autograph collection. I think this makes 19 of the Knicks on card autos, all different guys in Knicks uniforms, which you can catch a breakdown on Reppin' Your City, one of our previous episodes. And a story that you're going to really like, Craig, about this Joe Montana $5 card that I got. And you're like, why did you pick that up? It's a 1984 Topps chewing gum. So this, I was like right by the elevator. So if people came down from the mall, that was like the only advantage. And it only happened a few times, but like people walked right up to my table sometimes. And this dad comes up with like this 7 or 8 year old girl. And he's like, hey, do you want to check out my daughter's stuff? And maybe you'll be interested in buying it. And I'm like, obviously, yes, this is going to be a great time. So they open up the case and she goes, well, these like front cards I'm willing to sell, but like after this divider, those are not for sale. Those are definitely not for sale. I'm like, okay. So I start looking through, and it's like a lot of like base cards and, you know, like stuff that a little kid would have. It's totally understandable. So I get to this Joe Montana card, and I just, you know, I always like the all-time greats. So of course I'm going to buy something from her, you know, and try to enhance her card show experience. And so I look at the price tag. It says $5. I'm like, so will you take $5 for this? And she's like, well, it's actually my dad's card. So let me ask him. And he's like, yeah, that's my price on it as long as it's your price. And she's like, yeah, I'll take $5. So I gave her the 5. She's like, oh, thank you. And then the dad immediately, like the second I handed her the 5, he's like, yeah, can I get that Justin Herbert? Actually, it was a rookie card. Can I get that Justin Herbert? Will you do 20 on it? And then he gave me 20, took my Justin Herbert. And it was just like a great deal all around.
Wow.
Like I bought a little $5 thing and not thinking that anything would come of it. And then he just turns around and kind of pays it back by buying something from me. And so that was just like a feel good thing all around. And it was just nice. And then she came back later and, you know, we were talking about some of the moves that she made around the show. And the dad was all excited watching his daughter, you know, grow up before his eyes in a way. And it was cool. It was a nice little show experience.
That is an amazing story that I'm very glad you shared.
Yeah,
I love that.
It was fun.
That's really good. And that's the type of card that you're gonna have in your collection. And you're not gonna move that. That's staying forever. You're always gonna have a story attached to that one.
Yep, that's right. That's part of the great thing about the hobby for sure.
Love that. Yeah. That right there is an all-time keeper card.
Yep.
Sweet. Great story.
Oh, great. Thanks, bro. So what do we got for you? I'm excited about these moves that you made.
Okay. So I miss going to shows. I haven't been to show since, I don't know, it's been a few months. I haven't set up since over 6 months. I knew this would be a busy time for me. And then once the school year ends, summer picks up, I'll be able to go. So I'm getting that itch to go to shows. I don't really have the opportunity. So I do what I can online. Mm-hmm. So thank God for people like Dave, Extraordinary Cards.
Oh, Dave again. Okay.
He posted this. He always says incoming from so-and-so, you know, and he posts like a lot of cards. And there was this Mbappe that caught my eye. And then Dave posted an Instagram story today that says, pretty motivated to get new inventory in. So looking to trade down on larger items on my page. So if you see something interested in, DM me. Minimum value of items I would trade down for, let's say $50 to $100. I don't want to trade down for $120 cards, which I think is fair. Page is fully updated as always. I don't trade incoming items just in case of delays. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, Dave, you're speaking to me.
Yeah, that's like exactly what you love to do is trade those $50 to $100 cards for
Absolutely
like
perfect.
higher value PC cards. So you were motivated.
Oh, easy. This was,
in there.
and my plan all along is I'm going to pick up a banger of a card in National, a soccer card most likely. And I have a few ideas of what it is, but you know how I operate. When I see something that crosses my eye, you just like it.
Yeah.
So he had this 2018 Prism World Cup, Kylian Mbappe, red out of 149 in a PSA 9. That's a really special set because it's his rookie. I just think of it as his first Prism card, 2018. That was the year France won the World Cup.
Yep.
He scored in the finals. He won the best young player. So his colored parallels out of that set always seem to safe play. Definitely a safe play. I like the red Prism because as I've referenced before, I think in talking about a similar Messi card, that the red Prism is one of the few Prism parallels. You know, they have all these parallels nowadays.
Yes.
The red Prism is one of the few, I think, 7 parallels that exists in all of 2014, 18, and 22 Prism World Cup.
Okay.
Which is why I really like red as a good buy. And it's Kylian Mbappe. It's 2018. It's a PSI 9. I'll take it. And he valued it at around X. And I sent him 4 cards. Dave's cool. With him, it's always, if the value kind of works, sure. Almost doesn't even matter what the card is.
Yeah.
Starting with just the Robert Lewandowski 2016 Prism Purple out of 99.
Oh, nice. You know, I saw him play in person when I saw Barcelona, FC Barcelona, being a big soccer guy that I am.
You're a Barcelona fan.
Yes.
Nice. Another Lewandowski.
Oh.
Topps Chrome Sapphire Green out of 75. SGC 10.
Okay.
Hated to part with this one, but a Pele actually game used.
Oh, I'm surprised you let that one go. We talked about that on the show, and you really liked that one.
I was kind of in a rush to get a deal done, but whatever.
Okay.
I got the Pele autograph jersey, so makes up for it.
True. That's much better.
Damn. Now that we're talking about it, I kind of wish I still had it, but hey, can't go back on it now. Yeah. And this is the big one. Neymar.
Oh, wow.
Neymar 2018 Immaculate. Autograph.
Wow, that's a nice one.
Autograph dual match worn.
Oh.
Game worn patch out of 10. And
wow.
If you see the little A on the bottom.
Yeah.
I think that's from La Liga, meaning also when he played for Barcelona.
Wow.
The card you see here is PSG. So
was that a PC card before you just traded it, or was that like a movable inventory?
That is a great question. I am so glad you asked. I was about to get into it.
Okay.
I remember when I first got this Neymar card, which if you're looking on YouTube, this is pretty dope.
Yeah. Oh, that's super cool.
Sticker auto, but he did sign it all on the sticker. Dual game worn patch out of 10. And then the logo on the top, another logo on the top, if you can see it, it says UN. I bought this thinking, you know what, as a soccer collector, I feel like I need a Neymar card in my PC.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, started collecting more. I'm just like, you know what? Neymar is just not really a guy that I have that connection to. To me, it's Messi, it's Pele, it's Mbappe, it's Haaland, and that's pretty much it. And the U.S. guys, that's what I stick to. So maybe about a month ago, I moved this from the PC pile to the inventory pile. Again, with the idea in mind that I'll be able to move this probably at National for a soccer card I really like. But because Dave came along, I was able to move these 4 cards plus a little bit of cash for that Kylian Mbappe. And you could look up the comps yourself for it. But when I calculate the cash and what I'm into these cards for, I am into that card for $840, which if you look at comps, I'll let you do your own homework there. Pretty savvy move, I think. And it puts me in a much better position, I think, to use that as an asset to really trade into a bigger card that I really, really love at National. But also, like you alluded to earlier, the type of thing that if I don't move it yet, I am perfectly fine holding it. Mbappe is a guy I love. It's his first Prism, its number, and so pretty thrilled with how that transaction turned out today.
That's great. Well, if you're happy with it, I'm happy with it because your lane is soccer and Mbappe, and you to reference one of our other episodes, you fell out of love with a PC card with your Neymar, and that is a sweet, that's a card that I would like just because of the game used and the logo elements, and then the auto, even though it's a sticker auto, but still really nice in that PSA 8. And I mean, hey, if you feel good about it, because I don't think our listeners and viewers might understand the magnitude of that Mbappe. That's a real deal card, especially in that iconic, you love to reference the continuity and consistency of the sets that you like to collect. And that's the one that you've seen through all the Prism World Cup. That's like one of his iconic cards, right? I mean, and it's numbered.
100%. Yeah, it is. It is. And again, something I don't mind holding, but if I move it, that's fine too. I like Mbappe as a buy, and yeah, I feel good about how it all went down. And again, people like Dave make that possible. So power of social media, right? So we could operate on here, but I kind of touched briefly upon when I was talking to you earlier. I was coaching at a soccer tournament this weekend. So I'm hanging out with the families all weekend. The guys do the parents do different stuff, lawyers, finance. But I was talking to one guy in particular who works he's a lawyer. So in the law firm, he was talking about how a lot of the newer workers don't necessarily understand the value of going into the office, where they think if they're asked to do a minimum of, X amount of days, they'll give those X amount of days, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And I guess with the new generation, that valuing like the in-person connections, the human capital, as our good friend Sam likes to say.
Yes.
Don't quite value that. And how it's not the same getting your work done from home as it is being in the office, the camaraderie around people.
Yeah.
And that I just thought to myself, and I actually said this to him because we were talking about, my hobby and everything. That was kind of similar where, I've been making these deals online because it's kind of all I could do right now. But I definitely miss the card shows, the in-person, the face-to-face, the conversations. It's part of that's missing. So I can't wait for the summer, because for the summer, like I'm outside. I'm outside all summer.
We outside
all summer. That includes shows whenever I can, and can't wait. Bleecker trade night this Thursday. Don't know if I could go because the in-laws are in town, but trade nights in the spring and summertime are the best.
Yeah, literally outside, right? In the patio area that they have at Bleecker.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, I definitely can relate to the in-person. You never know what's going to happen in person. It's like way less predictable. Like the Burbank trade nights that were, of course, in person. Like the stuff that went down there with the Larry Bird cards I was able to pick up, and like the relationships I was able to make, and you just don't know what you're going to just see. And even if you don't pick it up, like the conversation, like with the young girl who I was talking to, 7-8-year-old girl just walks up, and all of a sudden that's like a great story that,
love that
even
story.
even though that show wasn't rainbows and unicorns overall as far as the sales, but still I was able to have some great moments, pick up 2 PC cards, the Bibby and the Carmelo Anthony, and then make a potential upside trade with the Burrow select tie-dye rookie at a 25. And, and we're both looking forward to the national with some of the moves that we made. Like that Mbappe, I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if that sets you up for an even bigger, because that's like PC for you now until you find a better opportunity, right? Or is that?
Yeah, it's almost the way I see it is the Mbappe would be like the assist to a PC card, and this Neymar here is the hockey assist.
I like that. Okay, the pass that leads to the pass.
No, and I do. If I have a card, every single card for me is either this is something I'm going to keep, or if it's not. And if it becomes it's not, sometimes I'll move a card like the Neymar into something that I'm more likely to move for something that I really want. Again, the hockey assist.
Okay. I like that.
You like that?
That's a good way to look at it. It's like almost like a math equation that you might teach your students.
Okay, something to consider for next year's curriculum. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Because I know you're almost, how many more days do you have of school? It's at time of recording, it's Tuesday, May 30th.
Technically a few weeks, but it's over. We're in summer
educators
mode.
Of America. They have to still finish out the year strong.
I teach seniors. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that they are graduating. So fighting through to the finish line. I wanted to talk about, we talk about buying and collecting in PC cards, but I had a very satisfying flip.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that one.
So last episode, maybe 2 episodes ago, I referred to those 2 soccer patches that I picked up. Do you recall which ones those were?
Your soccer patches? No, please remind me.
Tim Howard.
Oh yes.
Patch
Shea. When we were talking to Shea.
No, I think it was I think I flashed him up with Ken just for a little bit.
Oh, you're right, with Ken. You're right. Yep.
It was a Tim Howard match-worn patch out of 25 from his Everton uniform. And Freddie Adu, the 14-year-old phenom, match-worn patch from Upper Deck MLS 2012 out of 35.
Wow. That's a throwback.
I bought the lot for $55 shipped on Instagram.
And when you say the lot, you mean just those 2,
correct.
Right?
The pair. Card terms. Lot is multiple. For anyone who doesn't know, a lot is multiple cards. So a lot of cards. I just think of my eBay selling days, multiple cards.
Yeah.
So I listed both cards on Facebook. Someone bought the Freddie Adu alone for $50.
Wow.
But then here's the best part. I was talking to him on Facebook. He says, I've been looking for that card for 3 years now. So I appreciate it.
Wow. Okay.
How cool is that? So he's been looking for the patch version out of 35 is actually pretty rare and it was multicolored too. This guy had been looking for that card for 3 years.
That's awesome that you could set him up, that you could assist him directly with that Freddie Adu.
That made it was an easy deal, good conversation, shipped it out today. And I listed the Tim Howard on eBay for $99.99 and someone just bought it.
What? Wow. Tim Howard.
Yeah, wow. I'm saying. So the unique soccer cards like that, they've done well for me, both collecting and on the selling end.
So you bought the lot or the pair for $55 and you flipped it after fees. Let's say you end up with like around 80 in the low 80s on the Tim Howard fees and shipping. And then the Freddie Adu, you said you sold that one for $50?
Yeah, plus, and I paid for shipping. So
you got 130 back a little bit, or 130, 135 back,
pretty good.
And you only were into it for 55. That's great.
Yeah. Listen,
great percentage.
If you're in the selling and the flipping game, I talk to my students about investing. I don't give advice. I tell them, hey, I invest in stuff like funds that represent the S&P 500 because I'll take that slow and steady growth.
Mm-hmm.
I look at buying and selling the same way. Like I don't need to hit these home runs where I'm making thousands of dollars. Singles.
Yeah.
Singles. We talked about, remember I said earlier, 2 out of 3 gets you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You could just hit singles 2 out of 3 times. You'll be good.
And that's actually contrary to society these days. If you look at baseball, you got all these home run hitters, but how many times do they strike out? Look at Aaron Judge during the regular season, gets the Maris mark. And then, he's in the 60s in his home runs, and then he can't even make any contact in the playoffs. And then you have Derek Jeter here, bam, single, bam, double, once in a while hit the home run. And who would you rather have? You can diversify maybe into like with the Joe Burrow. Like I have the singles guys with the Bird and Magic, and now I'm swinging, a little bit harder. I'm maybe doing a Kyle Schwarber, trying to really rock that sucker and have a few with a potential upside. You need a little diversity in your lineup. You can't have all home run hitters. You can't have all single guys.
We've really gone off on a tangent here.
A little, it's a little, it's representative. It's a little example, a metaphor.
Yeah. Which is ironic. I was actually tutoring a student about tangent of circles earlier, but I digress.
Oh, cosine.
Sure. Close enough.
I'm not a math guy.
It's okay. Yes, you are. I see your notebook.
I'm like a quick math guy. Yeah. But
But
that's a great story, though.
yeah, a lot of good stories today. We covered a lot. I think
Yeah.
maybe the title doesn't best represent the entire episode because I think there was a lot of fun stories and positives to take away from this. But
Right.
going back to the point,
Yeah.
you had two last great show experience, and then this time around, long story short, you didn't sell too much.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the aspect that wasn't rainbows and unicorns, was
Exactly.
not selling
Right.
a lot.
So it's really not even to say the show overall was too bad. It was just the selling part of it wasn't the best for you.
Yeah.
But you had a great trade and you had a great interaction with that young girl. And
Yep.
again, 2 out of 3.
My mind's blown. My mind's
yeah.
blown. You tap danced around the whole lesson, and then you brought it right back to
2 out of
the
3.
main
That was
point.
genius. That
Oh
was
my
so good.
gosh.
I'm so good. I'm so good.
Isn't it great when you can impress yourself? That doesn't happen that often. That's great.
That was good. We got it.
Wow.
I hope someone's listening through to the end and just fully comprehended what happened.
Yeah, like I hope if they only caught the beginning and the end, I think their mind still would have been blown, or they would have just said, why are they still repeating themselves? But, the best comedians, they lead you down they give you that little morsel at the beginning. They all, they beat around the bush. They give you all that great info, those tangential stories, and then hammer it home at the end with the same thing. So that's expert podcasting by you.
Good stuff. Good stuff all around. Let's keep this train rolling here.
Quick PC pickup here. I know you were trying to get this one off my hands. Another Patrick Ewing auto, and and a lot of our New York Knicks and New York listeners know, which, by the way, is our most listened to area, New York. So shout out to our hometown podcast listeners on Crosstown Cardboard.
It's kind of what we're going for.
Yes.
Well, we want to be accessible to everyone. We have some international listeners, which is awesome. Yes,
we do. And so this will hit home right in the hometown, New York City. This is a Patrick Ewing SP Authentic Signatures Upper Deck Basketball 0304 with the on-card auto. You cannot mistake his signature. And this is about a $600 or so value. I traded my Peyton Manning cornerstones with the 4 different pieces. Actually, it's right here in my background if you're looking on the Crosstown Cardboard YouTube. I graded that one at Burbank, came back a BGS 8.5. It's numbered.
I know how you feel about those 8.5.
Both of us not big on the 8.5 of BGS, but it was still numbered 5 out of 5. Game used jerseys, on card auto, nice bold blue. And so I traded that. I'm into the Manning for $625. So to trade that for a PC card, and now to match my ultimate collection of Big Pat, pretty cool to have 2 of his very few, cards that were actually inserted into packs and, distributed like that. So I'm happy about that. Maybe we'll work out something in the future. I know you want that card.
Maybe.
I also picked up this Kemba Walker game used patch from his Celtics days, short-lived. By the way, very disappointing Celtics game 7, unfortunately. Jason Tatum with the rolled ankle at the beginning, the first play. How much did that affect the game? I think a lot, but also Jaylen Brown had those 8 turnovers, and the Celtics as a whole didn't play well. So there's enough blame to go around, and the Bulls played great too, on the other side. But anyway, not too many tangents. I mean, I'm sorry. I messed up. The Heat. I was messing up my Eastern Conference. From the play-in game against the Bulls all the way now to the finals.
Impressive. Seriously.
So good for the Heat. But anyway, this Kemba Walker game used patch, 1 of 1 with the Vistaprint logo from the advertising, on the team jerseys. So that's pretty cool. 1 of 1. And I might be able to sell this or flip it or trade it or see what happens. But a couple pickups on that front.
I like it. Fun episode. Lot to talk about.
Yeah.
There was a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, we fit a lot in because, we were talking with our guests and we got to talk about ourselves, and we had a couple weeks to build up some decent stories about our moves.
For sure.
So
and next Thursday, we could start saying Nationals next month. So that's exciting.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, end of July. It's coming up fast.
Straight up. See you next week. Keep up the good work.
All right, bro. Big time trades. I'm happy for you with the Mbappe and the flips. By the way, what about that MLS logo patch? Has this intrigued you to possibly list that one right there?
It's listed. I don't mind holding on to this one. I'm into it for like nothing.
And what do you have it listed at?
500.
Let me guess. 500? I was gonna say 250. But it is a logo. It is a logo.
I got a little room. What can I say?
Do you have a best offer on it?
I've had a few offers on it.
Oh.
I don't mind holding out to it. It's a cool one. We'll see. Maybe I'll let you hold it in Chicago. How about that?
Okay. If you still have it by then.
Okay. All right. Be well.
All right, bro.
Peace.